It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, I got one thing to tell you. Well,
What?
the days are getting shorter already.
I know. Come on, George. It was just 2 days ago.
All right. So we started summer this week, the summer solstice.
Right,
But you
right.
know, once we hit that June 21st, it's over.
I know. But I'm not gonna start whining about it yet because I know
You
what's
you're not gonna
around the
whine about a
corner.
minute or two each day. You ain't gonna worry about that.
Exactly. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. But what I am going to worry about, or at least be concerned about, is last week we talked about the fact that I said don't get it twisted,
Don't get it twisted.
because the fact that we did not get an interest rate increase, everybody was, sort of celebrating and thinking that the big bad witch of inflation was gone. And the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, came out again this week and said very emphatically, folks, he didn't say quite, don't get it twisted. We did find out that he was a deadhead, though, because he started talking about the fact that he really, really enjoyed the Grateful Dead right in the middle of his congressional speech. But anyway, what he said was this: we still believe, and that, first of all, that we are going to stick with our mandate of bringing down the inflation rate to 2%. And we are a long way from that. And because we are a long way from that, there will be 1 to 2 more interest rate hikes, he predicted, before the end of the year. And his voice, you know how sometimes you say something, but you change the emphasis and the tenor in his voice. And I think he did that because the market just totally ignored what he said last week and started to make one of these mountain kind of climbs, as though everything was going to be rosy and hunky-dory down the line. So he made it very clear to this week in his testimony that we will have 1 to 2 more interest rate hikes probably before the end of the year. But what he did also include, which was important, was a statement saying that the rate of increase, not increases, but the rate, meaning how frequently and how close together, as far as the rate of increases, might slow down. So that was what I would call good news, bad news, half empty, half full, but emphatically clear that we're going to have more interest rate increases. So, last week I said, well, what does that mean to you?
You did ask that question.
I told you that, your credit card interest rates would be going up. And we also talked about the fact that possibly mortgage rates would go up. And I expect for that to happen, although it went in opposite direction last week as far as mortgage rates, because nobody listened to his testimony. And that we would probably have, for you to go ahead and start working on lowering your credit balances, because the interest rates on, say, things like your lines of credit would also increase. But what I didn't say, which is what I want to make sure I tell everybody this week, is that there is an opportunity in these interest rate increases. And here's the opportunity, George.
I'm looking for it.
Cash. Cash is an opportunity right now. For years, we have talked about the fact that cash was trash. Because if you looked at your bank account statements and you looked at everything that was going on as far as your CD rates, and you could have thousands of dollars sitting in the bank, which would possibly be necessary to maintain your liquidity, but you were getting pennies as far as interest rates. And folks were complaining all over the place. And cash became trash, is the way we would talk about it. But cash has returned to a position of, back when I first started out in this industry, of being cash is king. Why? Look at this. I was reading some advertisements a couple of days ago, looking at things like CD rates at 5 and 5.5%, money market rates at 4.75 up to 5.25, 18-month CD rates somewhere around 5.45. That is unheard of in recent history. So if you've got cash sitting around, although this is not specific investment advice, but if you have cash sitting around, this would be a great time to evaluate what you really need to have ready access for, meaning get my hands on immediately, and other types of cash instruments that may be more around time deposits like CDs, and decide if you can build a cash ladder, which will increase the interest rates that you are receiving on that cash, yet still maintain the safety and liquidity and FDIC position with those dollars for your for the growth potential that you have right now. So George, you got a bucket of cash sitting around?
A little bit. No. What's a bucket? I don't want to say the bucket. What's that little thing, the little kitty pail? What's it go?
You got a little kitty pail?
Little kitty pail.
Okay. Well, even if you've got a little kitty pail, this is my last point. Read the fine print, though, when you go into the bank to start looking at different types of cash instruments and what the payout rates are going to be. But in many cases, it could be as little as $1,000, and you still are going to get elevated, much higher rates than we've had in recent years. But read the fine print, because I did notice in one of them that was advertising this really big rate, that instead of having a minimum, they had a maximum. If you put more than X amount in, your rate actually went down, which is counterintuitive. But
it is, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, they were capping their exposure as far as the banking institution on what they had to pay out. So read the fine print, work with a professional. If you have any questions concerning how this would fit into your own financial plan, but spend time looking at your cash positions to try and drive additional revenue from the elevated interest rates that we have currently, because cash is no longer trash. You can make lemonade out of lemons as far as the interest rate increases that we have experienced throughout with inflation. Well, George, I want to encourage everybody to subscribe and share. Make sure you push that button, subscribe and share this information with all of your friends and all of your colleagues. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at area code 315-930-4499 or at info@Brackens FSN. That's BrackensFSN.com. And I will say now, our plate is full.
All right, Vicki. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.